3rd of May 28 all hands meeting. Obviously, this is being presented by the unit leadership team about some of the changes that were made this week and how we really hope to benefit the unit moving forward. So we really want to start bringing up an example. So this is going to be slide 2 of Operation Mountain Fury. There are some members in here that were here for Operation Mountain Fury, and then quite a bit that were not. But after a really long meta-analysis where we looked at leadership and asked people that were there at this time, we really found that this was the most favored deployment in the unit's history. We think that the contributing factors for this were really because of the high level gameplay that was combined with an excellent storyline just to make a campaign that was really enjoyable for all of our members. Looking back through the videos, we really did do a ton of advanced skills that include heliborne vehicle interdictions, light vehicle patrols, halo, hey-hos, etc. And this was all in an Afghanistan environment, so we didn't do a lot of the waterborne stuff, but we did do a lot of very advanced skills that looks really good in our videos and is really enjoyable for our members. It was really heavily focused around detail-oriented missions that leaned on direct action, unconventional warfare, and reconnaissance and force. And overall, after examining it, it looks like those are the missions that our membership really enjoys the most and the ones that we should continue to build on moving forward. Additionally, it required a really high level of interoperability between our aviation and ground, in addition to really strong teamwork on the ground units. And this is something that we really want to get back to, because that's what made this unit successful from the beginning, and what we feel will make it successful moving it forward. So I'm going to turn it over to Alpha Platoon leadership, and they will continue on with slide 3.
Okay, so as everybody I think is aware of already, we have changed our unit in how it was before. So Charlie section was removed, and we were going back to the two sections as we had it before. Reason for that is that we have designed this structure to boost the overall reliance and also improve the quality of gameplay. Reason behind that, or saying quality of gameplay, is also that comes Oni, who is in the game. Oni has more, I call it, more time to put the effort into make missions for 2 sections than for 3. And I think also that is maybe something what we can look forward to as we see in Mountain Fury, because I think it's also hard to do it for 3 sections instead of 2. Then also, like it's written here, the cream of the crop will rise to the top. What we want to see is that everybody does something, and meaning by that is if you are active, you will rise to the top, and with that also the whole unit.
And to kind of add on to what Solo's going with that as well, the other part of this, which is going to be covered in a few slides here, is making sure people that are on regularly, this is one of the main reasons that we're doing this. We're trying to gather a group environment of regular gamers. We do understand it's a game. We do understand there's time and a place to do certain stuff, but we want to make sure that regular attendance players are not going to get, how do I say nicely? Basically, we're not going to get penalized by non-regular attended players because we have slots that are filled that now are going to be steadily non-reliable personnel coming in.
Yeah, that's
moving on.
Sorry, that's actually what I more or less wanted to say. I was just looking through my papers, what I have written down, but I cannot read my own handwriting. That comes to the last part of slide 3. No show, no LOA. Members waiting for slots. So meaning, if you are slotted and you have no show and no LOA, you will be removed out of how you call it, out of your spot in the section, and somebody who's waiting for it will be filling that spot. Like Anderson just said, we want to have a player base which is here and which also has an active part in the unit. It's not meant that you have to be 24/7 on the TeamSpeak or on the servers or something like that, but you should be here at least for trainings and for the operations. If you're more here than that, you're very welcome to do that. First of all, it also builds, I would say, friendships within the unit, and if you play other games, it helps also playing the game what we're all playing together, Arma. And I think there's nothing wrong with that to do that. But be aware, if you do not perform in your spot and you don't show up and you have no LOA, you will be removed. This is also what I call courtesy to other players. Like Anderson said, you should not hold a place where you don't show up. And you don't excel in the unit as well if you don't show up, and you give other players or you take from other players the opportunity to show what they can do. And maybe there are other players good for other spots or whatever, but this is what we will do from now on as well.
And just building on that, guys, the biggest thing we want to see is the 4 things that I have in red here. So leads. So remember, all SEALs are expected to be leaders. That means if you're an SO3, help out the SNs. Make sure that they're learning the skills that they need to learn. Help them if they need help. Help them build loadouts. Make sure that they're getting ready to go on the server when it's time for the ops. SO2s, assist your leadership. Make sure the SO3s and SO2s are getting geared up and they're getting ready to go. And SO1s, you guys are up there at the very top. You guys should be the ones policing all of those below you. Make sure they have the proper gear. Make sure they're ready to go. Make sure when it's time to flip that switch and throw on a realism hat, that people are not screwing off anymore. It should not just be the LPOs, the chiefs, and the officers that are leading. All of you guys should be policing one another, because that's how we make a really cohesive and really effective group. That leads right into the second point of help. If you're a new guy here and you're not comfortable with something, ask. Nobody's gonna get upset at you for asking a question. We want to get you to that point where we can trust you guys to be next to us in the game. And that's obviously the environment we're trying to simulate, and that's where it's going to be the most fun, where you know that guy next to you knows exactly what he's doing, and he's locked on, and he's ready to go. And then the last one is longer. If you guys are on the TeamSpeak, you guys aren't doing much, you guys are bored, pick up a collateral duty billet. If you want to be a J1 recruiter, hop in on that, help our new guys answer their questions, all of that good stuff. And then if you want to help training, pick up a J7 billet, where you guys can do NDOC, SQT, all of that stuff. Just find ways to help, and again, that feeds right into the cream of the crop, will rise to the top. If you're helping out, you're contributing, you're doing what you need to do, you're going to find that you're definitely rewarded for that in the community. If you're doing the bare minimums, then you might not be as heavily rewarded for that. So handing it back over to Alpha Platoon for slide 4.
Yeah, with the volunteers for the collateral billets. Everybody is welcome to take a J7 spot and to do training. But also, if you're in that spot, then do some training, and do not wait for the main person, for the for the chief, for the chiefs in that billet to pick up the training and do the training. Because you are also put in there as a trainer, and you should also carry a bit of that burden to train people and not let it just be done by the chief of the billet. If you are in there, you have to do training. Okay, so to the unit structure, we have restructured the unit in 1 platoon with 2 sections. As you can see, every section has 1 chief, which is placed in maneuver team blue or in the first maneuver team. Then the normal personnel like medic, heavy weapons, and pointman. Then the second team, we have slotted with the LPO, so that we have 2 team leads. And with the LPO, we have also heavy weapons, demolitions, and SSE personnel. We will bring back the SSE training, NEC course, which will consist of a little bit more than it has before. There will be also like drone operation and stuff like that will be included there. So that means also with that, how we did it right now with the chief and LPO, we are expecting for the 2 personnel in that spot to lead the sections as well, together with the OIC and AOIC. Can be that OIC and AOIC actually just stand back and have the overall, how you call it, leadership of the section, and the chief and the LPO will be leading the sections on operations. And with that, I think we can have a fluid gameplay. Also, as we did it with most of the time, it's not that you need to stay in that section, and it is not written in stone or hammered in stone that you are in that section, or in that part of the section. If you are needed somewhere else, then of course you will be also moved around. It might be that somebody from the one part from blue team will be moved to red team, but I think that's anyway discretion of leadership.
User in your channel is recording.
Okay, so that I give it to Anderson that we can have the next slide.
Alright, continuing on with the unit structure, it comes down to it, what we're going to be doing is additional assaulters will be added in at the mission
User in your
time
channel
to maneuver
timed out.
teams. What that is, in essence, entitling at this point, because we've talked about this as well, is we're tentatively going to make it a little bit more competitive for assaulters, but it's still something in the making as well. Obviously, anyone that's LOA or issues, anything like that, we're going to be filling them first, and after that, we're going to add the assaulters to the sections appropriately. We're going to try to tentatively just split it up equally according to it, but we want all assaulters to be, willing to learn, willing to come and do that. As everyone has seen, all the training on Alpha and Bravo sections are all on Thursdays at 2000 Eastern Standard Time. We're literally making it easy to be able to train everybody very, very easally. As well, JTACs are going to be moved to the TACP team under Jake HQ. Noble, I don't know if you want to elaborate a little bit more on that part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the JTACs, this is something we've been talking about for a while. TACP stands for Tactical Air Control Party. It's a U.S. Air Force detachment that has JTACs that can be assigned out to special warfare units. And this whole decision was really made to help boost our interoperability with air assets. We found through examining a lot of our videos and talking to the JTACs that one of the biggest hiccups that they're running into is they do a crap ton of training with the ground. However, their actual time to operate with aircraft is very limited, and it's generally limited to transport aircraft during the training. So with this, they're going to be working directly with Jacket and showing up to their trainings, and so that they can work very frequently with all of our aircraft and the full spectrum of aircraft that we have. Additionally, this is going to allow 2 JTACs per section, which is going to make it a very cohesive team, where you might have one JTAC on the radio, one JTAC up missions. This should allow air support to be much quicker for you guys and allows warheads on foreheads real quick. And additionally, there's a lot more fluidity in terms of assignments, because we're going to have, how it's going to work is there's going to be 2 JTACs together, and then a JTAC and the Taylor are going to be together. So that's going to be decided prior to the mission each week. So it's going to help really develop good relationships with all the leadership on the ground because they are so fluid in how you can assign them. So with that, Anderson, back to you.
Next line item, if you have frequent attendance issues or frequent computer problems, where you're constantly dropping out, not able to update, stuff like that. If it's a known issue, until it is fixed, you will be moved to a platoon assault or billet, which again is subject to leadership discretion. Again, there is a little bit of leeway here. But again, going back to it, we don't want to have, again, going back up to what we said earlier, we don't want to have, those that can play steadily and get on dedicated every week to be left out of the loop by not being able to tentatively hold a slot where, again, some people may have issues. As soon as it is a issue or rejected, we can move accordingly. Solo, you had something on that?
Yeah, that also includes that people, I think
User
all of us
disconnected
are
from
here
your channel.
in this unit, and everybody should know how to operate the forums. That means if we have an operation and we have training once a week, which you should attend according to our standard operating procedures. And I think it doesn't hurt somebody to check the forums and read the op orders. And if you maybe have questions to the op orders or whatever, what you don't understand, you should ask them and not be absolutely clueless when it comes to the operation. And I think everybody should know how to work around in the forums and should also utilize it and read it, what will be posted there, because sometimes people
User in your channel is recording.
It takes sometimes a lot of time for the people also, they put the time in to make posts. Okay, sometimes it's smoke and joke stuff, but other stuff is important because we have to convey a message. And I think the courtesy for those people is to read it, at least.
And I will definitely agree with that. Next line item at this point is... Oh, my apologies.
Walker, I believe you had something for aviation, correct?
Yeah, well, like all you guys here, this is something that myself, Farley, and Noel have talked about a lot. It's not something we see too much because, we are jet pilots, but we've heard it from our pilots, our rotary pilots, as well as seen it in video. Please, when you're getting in our airframes, make sure that you guys are on whispering. If you do not know how to do that, contact me after this. I'll explain it to you guys, and make sure that you are on the proper cargo channel. That's just simply using ACE interaction, going to the intercom channel and making sure you're on cargo. It's very distracting, when you got 12, 13 guys in the back of your bird all screaming at the top of their lungs because they're not on whispering and shit like that. And it's really hard for us to operate and hear our radios when that shit's going on. So please just keep that in the back of your mind, and that is all I got for you.
I have actually something to add to that. I, of course, also know that everybody has to tell a story, but I think, for example, if we get into a bird and we're flying into an AO, there's stuff going on which has to be taken care of, if it's leadership, JTAC or whatever. And also for me, I have to say that if 14 people are then on cargo channel talking about what they had for lunch or whatever, or stuff like that, is very disturbing for me. So I would actually say, if you want to talk about nonsense stuff which has nothing to do with the operation, do it after operation with smoke and joke launch. During operation, be professional, because at the end of the day we want to emulate something very professional that are SEALs, and we should also emulate them then. And I think the best thing is just to say operational mission relevant stuff in the choppers and let other people do their work.
Right. With that, we're going to move on to slide 6, our short-term goals.
Hold on a quick second. If I can quick, on slide 5, 2 things I wanted to make sure that was very highly understood and established. make sure you use the chain of command. If you have an issue or have a concern or have questions, anything like that, use the chain of command. Start with your LPO, go to your chief, come to your AOIC, or in this case, actually go from chief to possibly Sabo, give or take on that one. To either me or, and then at that point, press me, it goes to solo. And again, the whole catch is, unless if you have a problem with an individual, for instance, if anyone had a problem with me, the next person in the chain of command at that point is not going to be your chief or LPO, it's actually going to be solo. That would be the authorization to head above anyone outside of the normal chain of command. If you have an issue with your chief, you talk to me at that point about it, for instance, on my end. Or in alpha, you talk
Your
to
channel
solo.
was edited.
This is what I cannot stress this about this. There's a time and a place to question decisions as well. If we're in the operation and we've already formulated a plan and questions were not answered at the start of the mission, or if questions were not asked at the start of the mission, you kind of got to work with it. Everyone is welcome to input and go from that point, but we already have a general plan of action. If you have any concerns that are outside of mission or problems within the unit, another individual, how ONI's operating, or in any issues along that line, address them outside and generally try to do it privately. Pull someone aside at that point again. If you can, start at your LPO, your chief. If it's Bravo section, me. If it's Alpha section, solo, you still use your LPO chief and go from there. If the LPO does not know the answers, you simply say, I do not know at this time. Give me a little bit of time. I'm going to get a hold of the chief. Get a hold of the chief. If the chief doesn't know, they get a hold of the OIC. If they don't know, we will find the answer. You just got to work with us and give us a little bit of time. With that, I'm done on my end. No, you take it, Solo.
It's also not if you come with a problem to us that the problem is solved within 5 minutes. It maybe takes a day or 2 or even 3 until you get hold of all of the personnel you have to talk with. And please give us the time and the courtesy to do that, because of course we will be working on to resolve the problem, the issue, which was brought up to us. But I'll call it like everybody has to do also other things beside the unit. I understand that as well. I hold it against nobody here. We also have to do that, and you should give us a courtesy to have time to resolve it and not go around later on and say, oh, we are not doing anything. I can assure you, if somebody comes with me or if I hear of a problem, I will be always taking care of that.
Anything else, Solo?
Not at this moment.
Okay, so that moves us into slide 6, our short-term goal. So one of our initial short goals is we want to continue to build and improve on our skills. This includes all of our skills, basic and advanced, because the only thing that really separates special forces from everybody else is they do the basics so much better. So I don't ever want to hear griping that we're working on fire and maneuvering. I don't ever want to hear griping that we're working on bounding, formations, patrolling, because until we get that down and we can do it perfect every time, there's always room to improve. And I know in my line of work, for anybody doesn't know, I'm an EMT. It's very commonly said, when you think you know it all, it's when you quit, because that's when you make mistakes. And that's the same mentality. If you know it all, then you probably shouldn't be here, because there's always room to improve. We want to continue to build a team of like-minded individuals, and we want all of our players to set an example for our newer members. This means teaching them the skills like we talked about. This means sitting down with them, letting them know what they need to do, where they need to be, and when they need to be there, and showing them the forums, answering all those questions. We just want to make sure that we have a real supportive community for everybody here, because we do want to bring new players in, and we do want to build our community. Looking down the road a little bit more, we're looking to complete Op Lion's Den and move into our FDX cycle that Odie's responsible for. We're going to finalize our forum document conversion. So anybody that hasn't seen, we are switching all of our net courses over to the forums. If you take a look at the SOPs or the JTAC, you'll see an example of that. And then we're just going to continue to really improve upon our NDoc, SQT, and deck programs to make sure that they are top of the line and that we're updating them with mods and we're making them relevant. Takes us into slide 7, our long goals. We want to make sure that we're maintaining an active platoon of really high skilled individuals because that's ultimately why we all joined this unit, because of the fun through realism motto that we go by here. We want to introduce more challenging and soft base missions. So this includes advanced skills such as submarine launched operations, vehicle interdictions, close security, boat operations, hydrologic reconnaissance, airborne marksmanship, infiltration. Now that requires us to be very good at the basics because we can't do any of this advanced stuff if we don't have that mastered. So again, we got to make sure we're practicing. And we do want to continue to bring new players into our communities. We want to potentially expand to a third section, and that is very dependent on having strong leadership and strong attendance from all of our members. And we do want to grow the sections in size potentially if we do have a strong showing of assaulters. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Jay Smith, our J7 head.
All right. So guys, just like they were just saying, keep an eye up for the updated training documents. Command staff has been going through all of them, cutting out some unneeded stuff, adding in some stuff that maybe some of the NEC chiefs have been wanting to have added or removed. So just keep an eye up for those when they get released. If you've already completed those classes, I would just recommend just looking over and making sure that anything's changed, that you have a good idea on what's been changed within it. All of these are going to be in the unit library just as they have before. All the NEC chiefs just continue to look for updates in the training curriculum. As we move forward, we add mods, we remove mods, things change in the way we operate. If stuff needs to be changed in those courses, let me know or let LT Walker know so that we can get that information handed off to command staff for any kind of changes. The guys that are set up to be training these NEC courses, stay active with it. When you see somebody put in a request for it, try to step in and get that course signed up to get it trained. Set a time and a day. We expect the members, when you guys request those, to show up on those time and days when you put that you can be there for them. If we have trainers that are inactive in some of the NECs, we'll be removing them as we go along. It's not that we don't want them in the positions, it's just simply we want to have as many active trainers in each one of the NECs as possible. We're going to be bringing in some improvements to the SQT competencies. It's going to be in the way that they're trained. At this time, we don't have any changes to what's in that curriculum. I do say to all the leadership, if you guys see weaknesses, bring them to us, come up with some solutions for them. We'll get them added in or changed out. But we're going to go through some changes on how we train these competencies to make sure that the information is withheld by the new members. Also, last thing, we're still looking for additional trainers for the NEC courses. If you're interested in helping in J7, get a hold of myself or Walker. We'll show you where the post is that you can apply for these. We also have a couple of the NEC courses that don't have a chief at this time. If that's something you're willing to take on and think you have the skills available for it, definitely get a hold of us and let us know. That's all I got for J7.
All right, moving on to what we're expecting to be some FAQs and then the Q&A. So for this section, just type a PTS in chat. We're going to be going on these in order. If you have a complaint, please propose a solution. Do not just throw out a gripe, because we're not going to listen unless you have a solution. So just some FAQs that we have written down. So why now? So one of the biggest decisions of why we did this right now is because many of the leadership of this unit are experiencing significant frustration about attendance, attention to detail, and lack of knowledge about the basics after members have been given the tools for success. And obviously it is a game, but we have standards that have made this unit successful, and we are asking for 4 hours per week as a base member. We can't do SEAL missions if we can't do the basics. I know that I speak for most of the leadership here that obviously we are taking time out of our days to try to make something fun for you guys. Obviously we enjoy it as well, but ultimately we do want you guys to have fun. And that's why we think the most fun is really taking it serious and really having these high quality missions. Next one. I don't like my spot. Can I change it? Go to your COC. Will we ever open second platoon for the foreseeable future? No. But like I said in the previous slide, we are potentially looking at opening up a third section if we do have strong leadership and a strong showing. But again, we really want to get back to our bread and butter, which is the tight knit group, excellent teamwork and excellent missions. And finally, the last one, what can we expect for missions? So now with Oni only having to focus on 2 sections, you can expect more detailed missions and potentially more opportunities for role play. So I know Oni, and I've got to support them on this. Is I think our missions have only gotten better, especially under Kyle, and he's done a phenomenal job along with his team with Op Lion's Den. I've got to say, unfortunately, I don't think our gameplay is matched their level of commitment and their level of detail to put into this, and that's really where we need to bridge the gap, is the people playing their missions. So with that, we go to the PTS Waters, unless Solo has something.
I think Shaw was first. I want to hit on him.
Disregard PTS. That was alerting people before you go.
I was just wondering for the neck courses. Right now, obviously, I'm training the Zeus stuff, and which isn't a super popular course, of course. Are you able to pick up a second neck if something's in need of people?
So I would like to see, and obviously command staff can weigh in on this too. I don't want to see somebody having to take on all of the NECs, but I definitely don't have an issue with people taking on multiple NEC courses that they help train. As we have more people join in, it would be great if we could have people that concentrated on a single NEC where they were very comfortable in training it and knowledgeable in it. Obviously, all of our courses, we have documentation that we expect to be passed on. But when you do one course over and over and over, you get really good at giving that information. So yes, you can be in more than one NEC as a trainer, but try to keep it 2 of them for now. If we still have a lack of people signing up, we can look at adding more positions to each one for multiple members. But I would just like to see us be at the point where we have a couple in each of them that are very effective at it.
Thank you.
Okay, Nectar, you're next.
Yeah, I have a complaint about the way that we mixed the 3 sections into 2. Because any big changes that happen in this unit regarding roles and positions have been dealt with in, I think, a really effective manner where it's based on the time and grade and time and service and all those stuff, and it accounts for that. So you can choose the positions that you want to play, and it gives people who are kind of here for a long time a little bit of choosing space for that. So I just thought that would be a good solution.
Okay.
So I'm just going to direct you to the second of the facts where just tier COC and potentially something can be worked out. Priest, you're next.
I'll just type it out here.
Okay, Jaeger, you're next.
Is it working? Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. First one thing I wanted to say was thank you to the senior leadership for having this meeting to explain everything, because I understand, especially in the ARMA community, people can get a little panicky when they're not given all the information, and I just want to appreciate you guys for coming out and giving us all the information and letting us know what's been going on behind the scenes, and I really appreciate that. I'm sure a lot of other people here do as well. Not something you see in every unit. With that being said, I had a couple of points to echo for my section. Was the open door policy with absolutely come and question decisions that I'm making after the fact. I 100% will discuss tactics with anybody who wants to till we're both blue in the face after the mission, not in the middle of. And then the other question that I had was with what we're doing with the team sections. We currently have the red and blue teams for each section within the platoon. Is there a possibility that we could assign 4 colors as a practicality issue, so that we had each team had its own unique color? That way, moving forward, there's less confusion because I know that basically we've had issues in game with red and blue teams from different sections, and especially now that we're compressing and working in a closer, more team-related environment, I feel like that would potentially assist us in the planning processes.
I'm sure we can do that. We can figure out something within the leadership,
Copy.
which includes chiefs, LPOs, and of course OICs and AOICs.
Jaeger, anything else?
Just side note, I've been playing Arma for 2,500 hours in Milsim, and I'm still learning. So there's plenty to learn and be taught all around. So always be willing to learn, always have an open mind, and trust your leadership, guys.
Thank you, Jaeger. Sable.
Yeah, I just want to make a point, and the salient point is this. Jaeger is the only section with all of his members present, so that says something there about leadership.
Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns?
Moans, bitches, or complaints. Now is the time to bring it up. Shaw.
Apart from the stuff that went over in previous slides in relation to TAC-Ps and JAC changes, does any of this actually relate to aviation or aviational changes within operational training?
Aside from TAC-Ps, no.
Okay, awesome.
Priest.
Members that I asked for will meet in Leiter's office.
Loose.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I was just wondering about. I would enjoy, maybe not leading training, for JTAC, of course, because I'm pretty new to it, but I would enjoy helping out with that, just to gain more experience and go through that process repeatedly, just to become more familiar with. If maybe we could. I'm not sure how that works with the messaging, but like if we could send that out to when somebody requests it, request training, maybe like all the TACP could receive a message, hey, if you want to help, or similar. I'm not sure how all that works, but
Jay Smith's going to be your guy to do.
Yeah, so I've had a couple guys message already about some of the courses and stuff. So if you look at the J7 announcement thread, I think it may be 2 posts back. There's an explanation about what you need to do if you want to join into J7. It's a simple, I want to join this class, or I want to be in EC for this class, why you want to do it, and just a simple explanation deal. We want everybody in J7 that wants to be in J7. I'll make it very clear. If you guys want to help with training, we want you there. To kind of go to your question exactly, Luce, what I would say is if you want to be able to train any of the classes, go ahead, let me know. I can get you on there. You'll have a trainer status, and the way it works is when you're in J7, you have trainer status. That means you can obviously anytime set in on those courses to learn how to train it, because obviously just because we know the information doesn't mean we can effectively train it. So we can set in with them, and then once the NEC chief, so in this case with JTAC, it's actually all of Joint Air Command. Once they feel they're comfortable with the way that you could train it, like they'll actually have you train it with them in there, then they'll sign you off as a full instructor where you can take that anytime. And then like as far as the communication side of it, as far as saying, hey, we got this course coming up, I would just say pay attention to the NEC requests. If you see someone put a JTAC one in and they say they're doing it on so-and-so day at so-and-so time, just put a little deal in there, a reply in saying, hey, I'd like to set in on this class also as a trainee for it. So definitely just be as involved with that stuff as you guys want to be.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Jaeger.
Just wanted to suggest, I know he's not here, he's on LOA, but Wickens for JTAC training as well. He was questioning me, and I just wanted to push that up because he was previously in my chain of command. He's extremely interested on being part of JTAC as he does that in real life.
Excellent. Anybody else?
I got real quick, Noble. I just wanted to thank everyone for showing up tonight, taking time out of your day, and just coming to listen to what we got.
Exactly, guys. Go ahead, Sable.
Yes, I need to retract my state and formally say that Rap also has his section here. So he doesn't have to go to a safe space.
Rip.
Yes, I'd like to thank you.
I have also to say, when I talked with Noble about it to do this all hands meeting, I especially put it on a Thursday. Actually, normally we would have training right now, because everybody should be here today, also for the training. And as we said before, you saw also with attendance and stuff like that. And training is something you guys should attend to. And this is what would be the outcome if we would have a training today.
So overall, again, I speak for all the leadership here, and some of them have already stated it. We do definitely appreciate you guys showing up. You guys are showing that you guys do care about the direction of the unit, and we're very happy to have you guys all here. And we're really excited to be able to continue to grow this unit and continue to mirror the successes of the past and continue on building into the future. So again, thank you guys. I believe Sable already has attendance. So other than that, we're all good to break.
I have one more question before we go. So nobody has any questions or any concerns, any grief or something like that, which he should bring up. Because like I always say, speak up now or be silent forever. But of course, everybody has complaints, and it seems like everybody is very happy. Nobody is saying anything. Not that later on the complaining starts again. Alright, there we go.
Daniels.
I'm just gonna quickly ask if SN has a problem with like SQT or indoc stuff, just like, you know, a complaint, let's say, do we bring that up with J7 head or would we bring that up with J1 head? Or personnel?
J7. Everything what has to do with training goes to J7.
Alright.
After
I will just quickly say with that, guys, if it's like a functional problem, like they don't think the course is wrote correctly or an issue with the way something's done, that will be something not only that they would bring to me, but I would go to our SEAL platoon, get their weigh in on it. But any changes, just so everybody knows, because I know we really haven't put it anywhere, any changes that we make to our training that are substantial, a change to the way we do things, or requirements to be able to do something, all of that requires command staff approval. So that's why when we come up with anything, we have to have a reason for why it's got to be done, and then we have to take it to them for any kind of changes. So, but yeah, if they have any issues with that, have them get to me, and if I need to send them to SEAL platoon, we'll send them to SEAL platoon.
And Jaeger.
Is there any potential for us expanding to 5-man sections? Because tactically, it's more better.
Yeah, so I think I mentioned that in one of the slides, but if we do if we do continue to have a really strong showing of our assaulters and our membership in general, there definitely is that potential to add people.
Cool.
And I think that's everyone. Alrighty then, with that concludes all hands. Again, thank you everybody for attending. We all really appreciate it.
Bravo section, move
User in your
into
channel stopped
Anderson's
recording.
office.
User left your
Nictor,
channel.
aside from those individuals that you wanted to pull out,
User left your
you
channel
guys.
switched. User joined your channel.
Whoa, Ivan, that was crazy, huh? I liked his. I wish Smith
User
would
joined your channel.
I wish Kyle would
Microphone
talk.
activated. Joined your channel.
What'd you say?
Kyle.
Kempton,
No,
as
that-
soon as you
User
left, he
joined
started
your
fucking
channel.
talking to you. God damn it. The fuck is Priest?
User
Alright,
joined your
alright.
channel.
Hey, Daniels, let boss know when he comes back. I gotta go meet with Priest and I'll be right back.
User left your